Welcome everybody. I fell totally in love with this small miniature art journal, and I know for a fact that you liked very much the first page. So let's make another one. And it's Asia Marquet here, Lemon Creation. Thank you for being here. So I found this book in a local thrift store, and I paid nothing for it almost, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's not an old book, obviously, but the format of it is just so cool. There is a lot of pages, and so I will have to remove a lot of them also to keep the book in good condition, so it can close and open without any problems. I already made a mistake on the very first page, which I like so much, and you like it also, because somehow it didn't glue well, I don't know, unevenly, and I have no idea how that happened because I was using the bond folder. But yes, the book is, I don't know, with some, I think, German language and also some French. This is like sentences, which means not that much to me. I see some Chinese or Japanese, I have no idea. But it looks so nice and I really love it. And it's also nice to change the format of your art journaling. You know, if you do all the time the art journaling of, I don't know, in the format of A5, after a while anyway, I'm losing my mojo. It's the same format and it kind of, it's getting tiring, boring for me. So I like to change it. I like to spice it up a little bit. As you can see, I'm using a matte gel and I'm gluing the pages together. I usually glue 2 to 4 pages together depending on the actual paper, because everything depends on the quality and thickness of paper. In this case I am gluing 3 of the pages together, and every time I do glue pages together I remove some also. In this book, I think, or from this book, I'm gonna remove quite a lot of pages to be sure that I can close it, because it's gonna be bulky. There is a lot of them in it, so that's gonna be the thing, to remove the pages. And I'm gonna keep the small ones, because sometimes there are some English words which I may use for my other projects. And yes, when I glue the pages together, I use the bond folder to kind of spread the glue evenly and glue the pages also evenly, which didn't happen on my first page, just because the book is so big that I actually I need to put something on the underneath the book on the left hand side, otherwise it's just it's falling onto the desk. And that's why I think I had a problem. But enough talking about the book. My process right now is simple. I am taking a tissue paper. It's not like a tissue paper for for your nose, basically. It's just a tissue paper, like deli paper, I think it's called. And I'm kind of making it all not ironed. I have no idea what the word is, but I'm making a texture basically. So I don't want the deli paper to be smooth. I want it to have a texture, and so I'm doing it on both sides. And here you can see me actually removing some of the deli papers, because I didn't like actually the way I put it on the page. So I removed it because it was still completely wet. And then I add another piece, and using my craft knife and matte gel, I'm just gluing everything together. So the next step is, of course, to dry everything. And so I should have done that earlier when I was gluing the pages together, but just to protect the book, to protect the already made projects, it's always wise to use some kitchen towel, for example. And right now I'm mixing up my super heavy gesso from Liquitex with water, just because it's a super heavy gesso. So I wanted to have a gesso which is more liquid, and I didn't want to struggle with gesso, which is very thick. So that's the idea also, you know, if you have a thick gesso, you can always use it for other projects as the more liquid one, just by simply adding some water. And I'm using my finger because the craft knife would probably destroy a little bit the texture I made with the deli paper. So it's the best way to right now to do the application of gesso is actually with the finger or with the brush. And also now you can see me, I'm adding the rest of the gesso I had on the on this kind of plate thing, which I used to dilute it. I'm taking it and kind of how do you say it? Just pressing delicately the craft knife onto the paper, kind of tapping, and so like that the gesso is sticking to the page, but sticking also to the palette knife, and is giving a little bit more of the texture. And once the gesso is dry, I am using the sage, and this one is the color from Infusion by PaperArtsy, and it's a really beautiful color. And I'm also gonna be using Mini Mister. There was a time when I didn't understand why people are having Mini Mister. It's been years since I have it already, but there was a time like that, and I do understand now very much. The sprayer is so small that, you know, it kind of water stays in place when if you are using a big sprayer like this one right now. The water will go a little bit all over the place. But what's important with Mini Mister, it's a very good tool to use with the powders, because they do not fly all over the place if you use if you start with Mini Mister and then you use a normal sprayer. This is just my opinion anyway. And I actually, guys, I'm gonna tell you honestly why I didn't stop here. I have no idea. Because I was thinking the page is too dark, and I think I was kind of thinking about the first page in this journal, which is quite bright, and I was thinking, oh la la, it's too dark, this one. And I started adding colors and moving the colors around, and I'm gonna be using also a second color of Infusions, which I probably shouldn't have done, because at the end I think the first application was the best one, I think. But I'm actually wondering what you think about it. So let me know in the comments if you think that I should have stayed with the first application or I should be going on. And I'm gonna just let you quietly watch the process, because this is just a process of spraying and dabbing off the excess and drying, and once again and once again. This is a Stabilo All. It's one of my favorite pencils. It's a watercolor. And later I'm gonna use a brush dipped in water to kind of make it run this frame I'm making right now. And yes, I use the powders. So the powders are usually a mix of different colors. And I got this blue, which I didn't like. I was trying to remove it a little bit. Well, I didn't manage, but I will cover it later on. You're gonna see. I love to cover my mistakes. I think it's a great thing to do. And now I'm adding back to the sage color, to the dark one from the very beginning, to kind of add a little bit of darkish elements into the page. You may not see that, guys, but there is a lot of texture on the page, because there is a gesso, which is not smooth, and there is of course the deli paper, which was crinkled, I think. And so I am slowly or delicately adding a black color onto the texture, so just it is more visible like that. And I'm using for that water soluble oil pastels from Prima, and even though they are water soluble, I am not gonna use water on them. I just wanted to get this accent because I think the pastel is quite thick, and I don't have any other really good crayon which is that thick, and I was thinking it's gonna pick up these raised surfaces better, because even though they are raised, they are not very raised from the paper. And so I was thinking that if I use just a normal standard pencil, I'm gonna cover the whole page with the black, and that I didn't want. And with VersaFine Onyx black, I'm gonna use a little bit of stamping. I actually think that I add a little bit too much of the stamping at the end. Could have left less, but yes, you know, I love stamping. To save the day, there is always Gesso which can come handy, and so I am kind of making this very dark stamping a little less visible, just simply by adding a tiny touches of Gesso, which will also make the surface or the texture pop up a little bit better. So this is also a good thing to know. Plus a little bit of splatter with China ink, which is gonna stay visible, because if you use sprays, for example, they are not gonna be visible. Even if it's white ink, it's gonna kind of melt into the page, so I prefer to use the China ink for that. It's been some time since I used the dies. Cutting dies, and these ones are from Studio Light. I decided to add a tiny bit of white accents to the page, not even to the page, to just this part where I use so many dark colors at the end. I was struggling with the placement of them because it's, as I said, it's been some time since I haven't used them, and so I kind of lost the touch. Finally, I put them completely differently, and I used my bag from the collection Winged and Company from my book. As always, the link to my shop, it's gonna be in the description box below, so please check it out. I have some new stencils. And I also made hand-drawn stars. They are digital files which you can print at home, and you can you know, work with your silhouette or just print them and color them and use them for your projects. And I think they are a good thing to have just before winter and the you know, the Christmas and all of that. So if you haven't seen them, I hope you're gonna check them out. I'm using the words from my really silly words, and I decided to cut the sentence in half to kind of you know, like make the page more busy, I think I'd say. So that's it from me in this video. Thank you so much for subscribing, thank you so much for watching and commenting and giving me a likes, and if you can share this video, I would be so happy. And I'm gonna see you soon with a page I think maybe a little bit brighter than this one. We'll see. Sending you big hugs, guys. Bye bye.